Okay, so welcome to the ASP.NET MVC tips and tricks and hidden gems session. Let me introduce myself first, and then we'll jump right into the tips and tricks. So, my name is Shay Friedman. I am a founder of a company named Code Value, where I lead the web development division. We do consultancy, lecturing, training, whatever that is software related, we do. And today I'm gonna talk to you about something that we do almost every day, which is server side on the web with ASP.NET MVC. If you want to talk with me, my Twitter handle is Shay. And if you want my email, my phone number, my address, my car number, whatever, just something afterward. I'm very open, very open. Too much, some would say. I'm also a Microsoft MVP for C#, and I wrote the book about Iron Ruby. Have you ever heard about Iron Ruby? Someone? Yes. So do you guys know the three people that raised their hand? You know it's that, right? But the book is great. So it's still in Amazon if you want to buy that. So, yeah, if you like the presentation, just go buy the book. You will have, it can raise your screen and do a lot of good stuff. Anyway, so this is me. Before we just dive into it, just so I know, how many of you are ASP.NET MVC developers? That makes sense, almost all of you. You came to an MVC session, that makes sense. How many of you work with MVC 5? Nice bunch. 4? 3? Lower than 3? Oh, dude, I'm sorry. Sorry. That shouldn't happen. I'm sorry. Yeah, MVC is really good. It's free, version free. 4 is better. 5 is also good, but 1 and 2. Oh man, web forms is probably better. No, actually, web forms is not better than anything ever in the history of man. Anyway, so let's just dive into the tips. We're gonna go through 15 tips. Hopefully we'll have enough time. If you have questions, just raise your hand in the middle when I speak. If I don't see you, shout. If I don't hear you, throw stuff at me. Totally fine. Just not on the face, okay? This is my cell phone. Okay. Let's start. So, folder structure. This is a tip, or you can call it best practice, because folder structure is something that I see every day people mess up. And folder structure is structure. And every structure, think about it, structure of a building, if you mess around with the structure of a building, the building will collapse. If you mess around with the structure of actually whatever, of your body, think about your bones. If you don't have the bones that are the structure of your body, we will be this jelly thing that lives in the ocean, right? This little goes like this, and you don't want to do that. They don't write code, so we wanna be strong, and we wanna be solid. And the problem with structure that if you get it wrong at the beginning, it's really, really hard to get it right afterwards. So what I really recommend, whenever you start a project, just spend an hour, 2 hours, even a day on the structure. Think about the structure that is right for you. And I will show you my recommendation, but it's not like one size fits all. Just choose the one that fits you and use it, because afterwards, down the road, it will be very, very hard to make it right. And people will cry on that and curse and do horrible things. And you don't want to get to that. World wars started on less than that. So let's see what I recommend. So the first thing, if you start a new project, you have the luxury of doing that. In MVC 5, or actually it's not MVC 5, it's just Visual Studio 2013, they added something hysterical, okay? Something revolutionary. And it's called the empty project. Now, if you probably have been doing MVC for a while, and you know that up until now, empty project meant not a very empty project, right? So now they actually made it empty, which is groundbreaking. I don't know. It's a game changer, right? Now we can finally do stuff. So my advice to you: always start with an empty project if you can, of course. And you see here, you can just check MVC, or if you want API, web API. You see these web forms? Never check it. Never. Even if your life depends on that. MVC, you check MVC and just OK. And I'll show you that it's really empty. That's crazy. That's like, wow, that's a killer feature. I can't believe I'm saying that, but well, that's life. So you see that it's really empty. You have only the bare essentials, which is the web config, the global ASAX. Views have these web configs of there. And we have the route config here, and that's it, which is great. And now if you want to, you say, okay, there are some stuff that I'm missing here. Create a project, and a side project with all the stuff that the MVC puts when it's a non-empty project, and just put it here. But just put whatever you need, and not whatever MVC puts in that, which is just way too much, okay? So I'm actually going to not use this empty project right now because I want it to be pretty for you. But I'm sure you will make your project pretty without the help from MVC. So we'll create a new project. Now pay attention here. I just figured it out. You think about this dialog, right? And this dialog is the template selection, right? So in Visual Studio 2013, they have this. This is the web part, right? So you have only one web template, and you say, wait, I want to pick the template. But okay, so I want to pick it here. For this, I have this template selector. Okay, so why did I need that? I don't know. Work around here. Okay, never mind. That's Microsoft's fault. Anyway, I'm going to pick MVC and just click OK. And you will see that once you do that, you get a bunch more stuff than the empty project, which probably you wouldn't need. This is why I don't like this too much, but again, for this presentation, it's good. So you get all of these folders here. Let's do that and that. Okay. Now, this is a good folder structure. However, it's very good for a very small application. Once your application becomes bigger, this is not so good anymore. So, because it's very shallow. You want more control, more places to look for stuff, because I've seen projects with dozens of controllers, and you open this controller folder, and you get a gazillion controllers, and then go find the JavaScript files that relate to them in here, which is already pretty full. Okay. Which is already pretty full, and you see where I'm going. So what I suggest is it's kind of simple. Just when you start a new project, go and create new folders. And by new folders, not here, here. In the scripts, what I do, I just create, go add, and I can't see that, okay, new folder. Let's do that, that's better. So I have a new folder, and I call it view scripts, okay? And inside view scripts, I'm going to put the same hierarchy, folder hierarchy that I have in the views. So for example, if I have this home controller, and for home controller I have this home folder, so I will have a home folder here as well, which will contain all the JavaScript files for the home controller. Okay, so if I have the index action, so I have the index view underneath the views home here, and I will have the index.js underneath home and index.js under view scripts. So this is one thing, to just match the views and the scripts. Same thing for the content. If I need a special CSS for a specific file, for a specific controller, specific action, again, just create a new folder, view content, and again, create the same folder hierarchy for the controllers. Okay, so this makes much more sense, and I've seen this in action, and it actually works. Okay, so you might believe, you might choose to believe it, because I've seen it work. But then again, you don't really know if it works. I dare you to check yourself, because this makes much more sense when you start having a bigger and a bigger project. Now, two more things that I would add are new folder for helpers, which will contain all the custom HTML helpers that we write, and a new project, a new folder for view models, and we will talk about them in just a few seconds. This is about it. Now, one more thing is areas. MVC has this thing called areas. It's been there from I think MVC 3, something like that. And the idea of areas is that you can just take specific controllers, the content, the JavaScript, all the things, just put them in an area, which is another folder which contains all this folder hierarchy. And this represents a specific part of the application that has a kind of different approach, kind of maybe different users, maybe different actions that you can do. I don't know, it depends on your application. But the best example for that is admin, right? The admin part. Think about that. I've seen someone putting all the things that they needed in the admin part of the application in one controller called the admin controller. And it was like, whew, gazillion lines. And once you have a gazillion lines in one class, it's getting very, let's call it fun? Very fun to maintain, right? Because then it's really easy, right, to debug this and open this file. If you have less than 32 gigabytes of RAM in your machine, then try to open in Visual Studio file with gazillion lines. That's gonna be fun, a lot of fun. So use areas. This is exactly what is it for. So just right click, add area, call it a name, admin, and you have an area. Okay, and it even opens some registration for the routing. So now we have these areas here, and under admin, I have all the controllers, models, views of this area. Make much more sense, and just for maintainability code, just do that for your own good well-being. Anyway, this is the folder structure. Last but not least, business logic. I always see this the business logic goes into wherever here. I've seen people put all the business logic just here on the outside, not in the views, just here, a lot of classes. And it's not good. Plain simple, just not good and crazy to maintain and not understandable by humans. By the way, machines, they don't care. It will work. But humans, they care. So this is where it really hurts. So just creating, again, the structure, what everything lies on, makes sense. So my recommendation to you in this sense, create a new project for the business logic. This project should not have any reference to web stuff. Okay, it gets everything that it needs from the ASP.NET MVC controllers and returns entities or just plain objects. And then the MVC application takes them and just creates the view. Okay, so put all your business logic out of the MVC application project, and it will, I think it will be much better in the long run. So, spend some time on that, but it's very, very important, so this is why just remember all these and it will be okay. Okay, moving on to some security stuff. How many of you know the MS assignment vulnerability? Okay. This was big buzz, I think 2 years ago, something like that, when GitHub had like, I don't know, 1 or 2 days, or maybe it's too much, I don't know. But GitHub got down because of that. And it actually hold a security problem in all the MVC applications out there, all the MVC frameworks. And it started with Ruby on Rails. And of course, we have that in ASP.NET MVC and other MVC frameworks as well. And what is that? So let's see. Let's create a model. Okay? I'm going to create a new model class. Let's call it person. That's big enough for you? Good. Int ID and string full name and string email, and of course I want a boolean of isAdmin. Right? Okay, and let's do some annotation. So this will be the key of the table. This will be required, right? Full name will be required. Email will be required as yes, I need to learn how to write required. Okay, required. Email address as well. And isAdmin, let's say that its default value is false. Okay, so now we have this very simple data model, and let's create the everything for that, all the controller actions and everything. So let's do controller. I choose MVC5 controller and views identity framework. Great. Let's call it people controller. The model class is person. Let's create a new data context, web application for context. Great name. Yada yada. And okay, so it's creating all the views, all the controller actions, everything that I need, right? And it's done, so good. Let's just build that, and let's run the application. Okay, so now we have that, and if we go to people, we will have the usual scaffolded model, which is all the list here. I can create a new person. Let's create John Doe, which is john@doe.com. And he's not an admin. Great, everything is good. However, what we think, and that let's say we don't want the edit here to have isAdmin. Let's say that isAdmin is only available when it's created, the entity is created, or it's been replaced by the actual code or something like that. So I want to remove isAdmin from here. So what I do, I go to, not to person, I go to the edit. Where is it? Here. To edit, I'll go to the view of edit, find the isAdmin part, remove it, save, and great. Now the user cannot edit the isAdmin value, right? No. What do I do? This is the actual vulnerability. What I can do, I will add here isAdmin equals true, and click enter. Looks the same. I will just save that, and look here. Okay. So this is what happened. I didn't have ID on the form, but what MVC does, it goes and looks for the actual value also on the query string. So this is all I needed to do in order to get the admin rights, right? This is not good, okay? Now, how do we change it? How do we actually prevent that? So, at MVC 5, they actually improved the scaffolded code, and if we look here, you see this is added, and you see that they actually added a comment here: to protect from overcosting attacks, please enable specific properties you want to bind to for more details. Okay, I actually went to this link. There is nothing about that there, so I don't know. However, what we need to do if we don't want the user to change that is admin. You see this bind here? This is the first solution, just remove it from here. Now isAdmin will not be changed. However, let's see what's the problem with that. So I did that, I remove it, and let's go back here. Now remember, this is now an admin, right? So I will go to edit. Let's say John Doe 1, save, and suddenly he's not an admin anymore. It looks good because we didn't want it to be an admin in the first place, but this is actually a bug. Now what happened here, because the isAdmin value is not bound, then it goes and creates the default value of that, and the default value is what we said it was, false. So now in order to actually achieve this, the correct behavior of actually leaving the isAdmin as it is, we need to get firstly get the entity from the database, then just update it with the right properties, and so on and so forth. It's kind of a lot of work. Now, I don't like this solution. It's there, you should know about that, but I don't like it because I think that the models, this is the person, is an actual database table, right? Now, what I don't want the actual data entities, the ones that actually go to the database, I don't want them to be on the view. I don't want the user to have any interaction with them. I want some layer between them. And this layer is view models, okay? I think that every model should have a view model. Every view should have a view model. Even if the view model is exactly like the model, you should have a view model because it will prevent that problem. I'll show you in a second. And it will make life much more easier down the road when you need to combine some properties together or have some logics, some very, very specific presentation logic, and you're thinking about where to put it. Oh, great, we have a view model already, let's put it there. So don't look at it as, oh, I'm just duplicating my models. This is not gonna stick around for long. Requirements change, and the view model will grow apart from the actual model. That's what, from my experience, that's what I see. Now, how do we actually do that? Just create a class in the view models. Remember that? So under that, you can create a new folder because, again, just like I said, it should be the same hierarchy like the others. So we have this home control, not home, this is person controller. Person? People? How did I call it? People. People controller. And now I'm going to add a new class, okay, and call it people edit view model. And this is actually going to have almost the same things like this, just without the is admin. Okay, so it looks almost the same. Again, down the road it might change, but right now it looks almost exactly the same, but now I have only what the view needs and nothing more. And now you're saying, okay, so what you're going to do, now you have the person here, and you need to write code that converts from person to person view model and vice versa. This is what AutoMapper is for. How many of you have used AutoMapper? Cool. So if you haven't used it, get ready to get your minds blown. So we install a package named AutoMapper. And AutoMapper does this mapping between different objects automatically. And you can create some rules for that, how to actually do the transformation and stuff, but usually for this kind of stuff, it's just great. So once we have that, let's say that person, now we need to have the view model, so we have the person here. And so let's create, first we need to call mapper, AutoMapper, mapper, dot create map, okay? And create map from person to person edit, how did it people edit view model. Great. So first I create that. We need to create it once, so it's not the best practice to put it in action, but we can put it at a global ASAX or whatever, somewhere that will be run once. And now I can do mapper dot map, and I want back the people edit view model, and I'll give you the person. Okay, so now I have the view model, and I can pass it here to the edit. Okay, and all I need to actually do, this is, by the way, a sharper that does that. This will be better. And now I can go here and, well, Resharper changed it for me. People edit view model, okay? It was person just a minute ago, but everything will work the same. Now, what I didn't do is the same thing, just vice versa here. Okay, so I will do the same thing, just mapping from the view model to the person, and that's it. So this is much more robust way of working with MVC and the model binding that comes along with that. And of course, what we started from, it prevents the misassignment vulnerability, which is a problem you should care about. Okay, continuing on to the next security thing, which is XSS. And also, it always sounds like it sounds bad, XSS, and also CSRF. It sounds like a bad thing. Now, what is that? So, how many of you know what CSRF is? Good for you. And XSS? Yeah, so XSS is kind of more the rock star in the family. More people know about that. And CSRF is like the black sheep of the family. Not a lot of people know about that, but it's there, and you should know about that. And let me show you how fun it is to hack into applications. So let's create a new controller action. Let's say, you know what, I will just return a string here, and let's create a create person, and it will get a person. Okay, and I will just take everything here. I created, that's good, and I return yay. Good. So I have this create person, right? I can call it from everywhere and just create person, person entities. So what I do, all I need to do now is people create person and give it stuff on the URL. So full name equals Shay, and email equals shayf@codevalue.net. If you wanted my email, I will not repeat that. Okay, and I'm an admin, of course. And let's click OK. And we got yay, which means that if I go here now, so I have myself there. Okay, that's good. Now, what's wrong with that? There are a lot of things that are wrong with what I did now. But let's say that all of this site is an administration site, so you have to log in. Okay? So you say, okay, I don't really care because people cannot go and log in because they don't know the username and password. And it's okay because I have this. If you're logged in, you can actually add new people like that. If you're not logged in, so you cannot. Great. But of course, the internet is full with bad people, and all they want is to become a person in my application. So how do they do that? Very easily, actually. They will go and post a new blog post, a new thread in a forum, a new whatever, in a place that you can add HTML to. So what they will do, let's say that we're going to the index here. Okay, I will just go here, and let's assume this is a forum or whatever. And what I do, I'm going to write my post. So, hey, today is DevWeek. We're having fun. Yes. Here is an image, and image SRC. Now, I don't care no one sees my image. I just want to be a person here. So let's copy that. And I'm going to use this as my SRC for the image. And instead of full name Shay, because I'm a good person, so let's call him bad hacker. Yes. And his email is not my email. It is hacky@hack.com. And of course, he wants to be an admin, so it's true. So I'm saving that, and now I posted it to the internet, and if I go and reload this page, so there are tons of bad hackers right now. Why, I'm not sure, but it's probably, well, he managed to do something with my email. So, what happened? I don't know. Anyway, you see, it even adds bugs to the system. Let's see here. Let's inspect. Let's open this in new tab. So everything here seems to be okay. And we get a yay, but we don't see the image. And you say, ah, well, the image is not here, but the user is actually here. Here is bad hacker, hacky hack. Well, I don't know. Anyway, but what happened now is even worse than you think, because the image, the SRC, went to my site with my cookies and everything. So if I was logged in to the site and I had this authentication cookie and everything, this would get through all the login stuff and all the things that I thought was protecting me. Okay? So this is what's called CSRF, which is a cross-site request forgery. This is the name. And what did I do wrong? How can I fix that? So first of all, it's a very, very, very bad idea to create an action using get. Okay, I didn't put HTTP post on that. Using get that creates stuff, okay, or changes stuff. Very, very bad idea. If I did HTTP post here, the image thing wouldn't work. But I could still write a script that sends a post request to my server that will run through the users, my actual user browser. Again, from sites that do not protect against that. So this is still not doing anything. Thank you. Now, how can I actually protect against that? So there is something called anti-forgery, HTTP anti-forgery exception. This is not what I want. Validate anti-forgery token. Okay, this is it. And this is exactly for that. Now, if I just do that, let's remove the post. I'll just do that and build. And go here and refresh the page. And wait. Okay. So if I refresh it again, there are no more hacky hacks. And what happened if I go here and open it in a new tab? It says the required anti-forgery form free, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. So what happened? If I, what actually is being done under the covers is that what ASP.NET MVC is looking now, it's looking for a form value that's called whatever the name was there, some underscores, whatever, request verification token. And this request for verification token is also sent to the user when a form is loaded via an HTTP cookie. And HTTP cookies, HTTP only cookies, cannot be changed by client-side code. So what it's done on the server afterward is that it just compares the HTTP only cookie value and this form value. And if it's the same one, everything is good. Now, how do we add this thing to the form? You can see here, when you scaffold using MVC, it's already there. So you just add that HTML.antiforgery token, and you add this validate anti-forgery token on the controller, and you're kind of done. And these CSRF attacks cannot be done on this part of your site. So this is one part. Now, moving on to XSS, which is much more fun, much more fun. Let's go and add the full name, allow HTML. Okay, let's add that in the view model also. Okay, so what's happening now, I can go to people, and wait. Okay, let's create a new, let's go to edit this, and here I will add age 1. Great. So now you see this is what I get. But I actually want the user to be able to put HTML there. So what I'm going to do, go to index, and here, instead of this, what I need to do is html.raw. This is something that I think in MVC 3 or 4 they added. This is by default, HTML is not presented. It's presented as just characters. Sorry. If you want HTML to be presented, use html.raw. Now, let's refresh, and we get that. Now, this is good, but very bad, because I can go ahead and do script. Let's do that. Script alert 1. Or let's make it much more boom. Okay, so now it's very frightening. Okay, so you see it actually runs, and this is what's called XSS attack. And actually I have a friend that did the exact same thing on a site, something that allowed to put ads for stuff. So he figured out that he could put HTML tags. So what he did, he put a script that redirects the user to his site. So every time his ad showed up in a search on the site, the user that searched for the ads would get redirected to his site. This is a big no-no if you're a good person. If you're a bad person, it's great. So, so this is not good. So, but again, I want the user to write HTML, and I want to show the HTML. So what do? This is what HTML sanitizers are for. We have this NuGet package, really nice NuGet package, called HTML sanitizer. Install package HTML sanitizer. It's very nice. Just install that. That's it. It's installed. And what we can do now, this is the fast and dirty way. You can do it inside the view model. This is probably better. What I do, create as here a variable of new HTML sanitizer. Okay. And what I do now is s.sanitize and put the name here. And what it does, it has by default some whitelist of allowed HTML tags, attributes, and and CSS classes that can be used. And you can, of course, configure that yourself. But what we get now, if we build that and reload, remember we had the script that popped out an alert. So now it's loaded again, no alert. So, and if we'll see what's here, yes, this is the, well, we cannot see what's there. Let's do that. Okay, okay, we're better. Okay, good. So look here, the script is gone. It's still there if we go to edit. So the script is still there, okay? But what HTML sanitizer does, it takes it out of the string, okay? Out of the actual string. So this is XSS. So these are stuff that you should probably just do. Just get used to doing that. Remember that these are some holes that you leave if you're not doing that. Holes that you leave for hackers. And once a hacker is in your system and changes your data or whatever, this can ruin your entire web application, your entire company. Unless, of course, if you're Google or Microsoft, and then you can read emails and spy on people, and everyone will just smile and continue. But if you're Google, good for you. I want to be Google when I grow up. Maybe. Moving on. Razor helpers. Razor helpers are great. Very, very, very convenient. Let's do that. Simple helper. Helper, write big, not, okay. Write big, string tags, and h1 text. Great. Now I can use it, write big. Good. So let's see that it's actually here. Great, H1, awesome. Now, this is cool, but I want it to be on the entire application, not just on this view. Now, this is a very well-kept secret. I don't know why. But what you need to do, you go and add a new ASP.NET folder called app_code. And now it's there. And now here, you're going to add a new item. And if you, in Visual Studio 2013, you have this razor here, and you can actually create a helper. You just create a view, or it doesn't matter. Let's create a view page. All it matters is that it's CSHTML, okay? And let's create it. Let's name it my helpers. Okay. Now we don't need any of that, so delete, and we'll put just the helpers here. So let's take that, put it here. Good, save. That's it. Now we can use it all over the site, but the main difference is that the class name for example, is my helpers. So it's going to be my helpers dot write big. Okay. So this is the entire idea here. Just put helper and another helper and another helper and another helper without the typo, and just create one helper library of these razor helpers, and just use them all over the place, just using the class name, which is actually just the file name. So this is helpers. How are we on time? Good. Okay. Write view helpers like a boss. Yes. Doesn't mean that, like, I don't know how your bosses are, or if you're a boss, it's a good thing, okay? Just not like being lazy or stuff like that. Never mind. So I'm going to get beaten up after that. View helpers. How many of you have written custom HTML helpers in C#? Okay, quite a few. Now, what I've seen a lot that's been done is writing HTML as a string inside C#, and then try to manipulate that. So you see, like, huge string with a lot of pluses, or if it's good, so it's a string format call. But usually it's not, so it's like a string plus a variable plus string plus variable. This, you don't know that, but I found out that every time someone does that, a kitten dies. And you know, the internet runs on kittens. You cannot kill kittens. So please, please, stop. Don't do that. And how do you do that otherwise? So this is what I'm going to show you. And this is why we have these helpers here. We can create helpers. So let's create helpers. Let's create a new class. Created my awesome helpers. This is going to be a static class because usually custom HTML helpers are extension methods. And let's do, okay. What we're going to do here is, remember that I was talking about the structure, the folder structure, and I told you that you should take the scripts and put them in a folder called view scripts, right? So now what's going there is that in every view, you need to actually put the link to the script or something like that. And this is something that I don't want to do. I just want something to do it for me. So this is what I'm going to create. So let's call it public I HTML string. Add script link, view script is good. And this, not history, what is history context? This HTML helper, good. Now, what do you want? Right, static. Okay, so what I want to do now, I want to find the JavaScript file for the view and add a script tag. So how do we create HTML here without strings? This is what tag builder is for. Okay, just create a new tag builder with the script here, and this is how you create HTML via C#. Okay, please do not do that with strings. Okay, now what I want, merge attribute, just adding one attribute, which is the src. And here, what I want it to be is something like string.format. This scripts, view scripts, the controller slash the action.js. Right? This is what I want it to be. So now I need to find the action name and the action name and the controller name. How do I do that? I have the helper here. So what I can do, okay, you remember the string. Okay, let's do that. Much better. Okay, so we have helper dot view context dot route data. I get all the data from the route, and now what I want from the route data, I can get everything from there via get required string. Now, you might have a lot of things on your routes, but what I know, in every route, we have the action and the controller. So I can do controller here. This is I will get the value of controller from the route, and action. Okay, so this is how you do it. Helper.viewContext.routeData.getRequiredString. Now, what's wrong with that? Nothing, except for one thing, which is this. I need to somehow interpret that. Now, what do we use on the view to do that? URL helper, right? but I'm inside a C# code, I don't have URL helper. Wrong. I can use URL helper here. I just need to create it. So let's create the URL helper. Var URL helper equals new URL helper. Now this asks me for a request context. Where do I get it from? Helper.viewContext.request context. That's it. I have the URL helper now. So I can do URL helper.content, give it the entire string here, and I'm pretty much done. Right? So this is the same as in the action, same as in the view, but I'm doing it in C#. And now all I need to do is return a new MVC HTML string, which contains builder.toString. That's it. Now I return MVC HTML string because this is HTML and it should be presented. If I just return the string, it would take my string and replace all the characters that are HTML from the HTML syntax into just characters, you know, the end, whatever there. So you must return an MVC HTML string if you want to actually see the HTML. So now I have this. Let's build that. And let's go to index. Okay. So I want to go here and use my HTML helper. How do I call it? My awesome helpers dot view script. That's it. Right. I didn't need that. That's me being wrong. HTML.viewScript, because I did an extension method for HTML helper. What I do need here, if you see what ReSharper has just done, it added this using here. Now what I recommend you, if you have this namespace for all the helpers, just take that and on the solution, inside the views folder, there is a web config file. Now this is the web config of the views folder, not the web config of the application, just of the views folder. And just go inside that and you see here, namespaces. Just go here, add namespace, this, save, and that's it. You don't need to do using in every single view. So let's build that and see that it actually works. I don't have the JavaScript file, but let's see that it failed to get that. So I do have an error. And yes, so it tried to go to script, view scripts, people index.js. This is what I wanted. Okay, so this is good, and this is how you create HTML, custom HTML helpers on the server side. Again, use tag builder. Do not use strings. This is not good for you and not good for the kittens. Okay, this is, whenever I show that, people are like, whoa, I'm going to use it on my application and let's see how many errors. Oh shit, there are so many errors. I don't want to see that. So, what is that? Precompilation of views. This is, again, a well-kept secret. I have no idea why, but what you do, let's go to the index here and say that I did something I don't know. I just removed that, remove this parentheses. I click save. I build that. Everything builds because the views are not being built. And when I'm gonna see the error at 2:00 a.m. on production, when I'm hungover and my boss calls me, this doesn't work. What did you do? So this is when it's gonna pop up. So we don't want that. How do we prevent that? Listen carefully. We go and unload the web project. Once it's unloaded, we can edit the web project. And from all the things here, there is this MVC build views, which is always false. I will change it to true. Save. And now reload. Reload the project, and once it's reloaded, let's build that. Now the build will take more time. Okay, you see it takes more time, however, it found the problem, right? Now in Visual Studio 2013, when you click on that, nothing happens. It wasn't like that in VS 2012, but well, at least you know that where the problem is. You can go and fix that. I recommend you to do that once in a while, or maybe only on the continuous integration server or something like that, because it will take time. My machine is pretty fast, and also this is a very small application. So if the application is bigger, it has much more views, it will take more time, and you don't need to do that all the time. So just switch this to true once in a while and see that everything is okay. So let's switch it back so we don't wait for the compilation. Again, edit, switching that to false, save, reload, yes, and we're good. Again, let's fix the view as well. That was the index of people. Yes. Okay, where is it? Where is it? Okay. Good. Okay, so we're good with that. So this is precompilation. Unknown actions. This is, again, something that not a lot of people know, and it can become pretty helpful sometimes. Every controller out there you can override something that's called handle unknown action. Okay? Now by default it will go and throw an error. But if you don't want to do that, you can change what is done there. So for example, what I saw actually a good use case for that, when we do single page applications or stuff like that, we rely heavily on partials. And these partials are usually just HTMLs and not a lot of stuff other than that. So what I see that is controllers, one huge controller called partials controller, and it has a lot of actions. Every action returns a partial, and it just like public action result, name of the action, and inside return partial view, and that's it. This is the entire file. And I don't see why we need to do that if we have this handle unknown actions. So what we can do, just write partial view. This is the only thing that you should remember about that. Partial view, we need the actual name of the view, which is action name. Okay? And dot execute. And controller context is just this controller context. This is all that you need to do. So now, wherever, if we'll go back here, if we reload something that is there, it will, nothing works. If you do that, nothing will work ever again. No. Okay. So it's still okay. People. Okay. So people should bring back, yes. Okay. So people is back. But if I now go and do my partial, it shows me an error because it goes to look for views, but it actually tried to run this code. So this, if you do have partials, so all you need to do, you don't need to add more code to your controller, you just add views. If I added a view named whatever that I wrote there, my partial or whatever, if I had this view, it would just show me the view. So this is a very good use case for something like that. Or if you just want to, I don't know, redirect the user to the main main site or I don't know what. Anyway, just know that this handle unknown action is there in every controller. Okay, if we talked about partials, let's talk about child actions. Child actions are great. They're very much fun, and they help us a lot in separating stuff on our sites, especially what's called separation of concerns. We have this action for this thing, and this action for this thing, and they both create one page eventually. We see a lot of the use cases for that is, for example, logging. You have this logging thing up in the top right corner, so you don't need to repeat that all the time. You just put an action there, and it's something that just works on its own, separated from the actual page. Now, let's create something like that. So how do you add it here? Let's do html.action. You really call an action. So let's call it, I don't know, header, okay, for example. And it's not there yet, so I'm going back to the controller. Public action result, header, return partial view, and create a razor view and create a partial view, and of course, and all I need here is h1 hello. Good. So I have all I need, and I think that this hello is a login part, because this is always the placeholder for logging, right? Hello, like that. So this is my login, and the problem now, this is great, but I can go to hello, not hello, header, and go straight to that. Now, it might not be the worst thing ever, but it doesn't need to be there. And if it's something that should not be there, it shouldn't be there. So just prevent that. And it's very easy to prevent that, so why not? How do we prevent that? We know this is only something that is it comes from inside another view and not working by itself. So if we know that, we can add on top of that child actions only. And this is it. So now, if I rebuild that and refresh, it doesn't work because it says only by a child request. And if I go to people, it is still there. Okay? So this is it. Just know, again, that it's there. If you don't need to put something out there for the users, just don't. So this is another aspect of that. Okay, action naming. Let's create here another action. Call it about us. And return a view. Okay. Let's add a view, about us, empty, good, good. Okay, so we have about us, we are great, you love us. When people will see that, they will love us. This is how it works. So now I want to go to about us. And problem here it works good. This is not very good. First of all, search engines might not like that because it's not about us, it says about us, something like that. And search engines, in terms of SEO, might not like that. And also people, if you send this link to someone and think about it, if it has a longer name, it is very hard to read. So we can fix that via the route system, but we can also fix it in a different way, which is something that's called action name. And we just say, this is a different name. Now, think about this name. This name is a method name. So you are restricted by all the limitations of the method naming in C#. But I don't want these restrictions. I want to have a dash in this name. So I want this to be about us. About dash us, okay? So that's about it. Now, the only thing is that the view is now, when you do return view, it searches for something that is named about dash us.cshhtml. So fix it by just give it in about us, okay? And now, if we build that, this will not be available anymore, only about dash us. And if we were in the US, it's about US, much more patriotic. It doesn't work with the UK, so I couldn't make that joke. So this is naming actions. I need the defaults. Let me show you first something. Okay, you see that this is what MVC is doing. It's going and searching first for this view, and that's for this view, and this view, and this view, and whatever. What is this? This is ASPX, ASCX. This is the ASPX view engine. I don't write using the ASPX view engine. I don't like it. I don't want it. And why is it there? Why is it there? Because this is Microsoft. And why Microsoft does that? Because of backwards compatibility. So every time you work with MVC application, because Razor, the Razor view engine have been around since, I think, MVC 3. So if you migrated from MVC 2 to greater versions, then they don't want you to break. The entire code will not work, which is debatable if it's good or not. But what it means that every time someone goes into your site and your site is looking for a view, it first goes and looks for the ASPX files which are not there. So I don't want that. It doesn't take a long time, a few milliseconds, but if we don't need that, why should we? So I'm going to the global ASCX file, and view engines dot, right? Okay, dot engines dot clear. Now nothing is there, a good ground to start with. View engines dot add new Razor view engine. Okay. Now if I want view engines dot add, I can add web forms view engine. Do I want to do that? It says web forms. That should light up a big yellow, red, whatever, no on top of your head. So yes, I don't want that. So this will fix this problem. Another thing, just a small thing, it's called disable MVC response header. Just be put through there. Now MVC, in every response, it adds a header to the response. Now this is not the biggest issue, but if I'm a hacker, and we saw hackers before, remember Hacky Hack? He would look for MVC, this response header, and if he sees that, he might go and try some different attacks on your site. So we don't want to allow our attackers to gain information quickly. So this will just give them some more time to mess around with understanding which framework they are actually facing. So just put these 3 lines when you start, and that's it. Forget about that. You don't need to do anything else. So these are the defaults. Caching, let's see. Okay, I'm moving on from caching. It's important, but it's not as important as the rest of the things. And caching, just one word, output caching. Look for that. Okay, if you don't know what output caching is, just look for that. It will make wonders for your application. If we have time, I'll go back to that. But the rest is, I think, more important. CDNs. CDNs are great. They take load from our server and put the load on other servers from Google, from other companies. And if we can put load on other servers, there's nothing more fun than that. Maybe there are some things that are more fun than that, but it's good. So how do we use CDNs? There is this one way to just go to the layout and go here, and instead of all these render bundles and stuff, just put here script tag for jQuery. This will work, but I don't want that, because think about that. During development time, you want the jQuery or whatever that you're using to be on your local machine, because you might change versions. You don't want it to go to the server all the time. You might work offline. You don't want this to be on a CDN while you're working. When you're in production, then you want the load to go to another server. So how do you do that? I'm not sure which version of MVC got that. I think it's 4, I'm not sure. If we go to bundle config, we have script bundle here. If you do comma, then you see there is this CDN path that's hidden there. We can add the path. Well, I don't remember where jQuery is, but let's say it's on jQuery.com/jQuery.js. It's not there, okay? Do not use that. Just look for the CDN. But this is it, okay? Now, if I go and reload the page, nothing will change actually. Okay, let's view source. So jQuery is still here. Okay, it's the same thing. It's not good. What I need to do, I need to go and write bundles.useCDN equals true. Okay, this is not by default. Okay. Now, when I do that, if I reload the source, now when we see what happened, it's the same thing. Still jQuery. Still the local jQuery. Now what happened? Let's go here, and what happened is that because we're in the development mode, we see that it uses the local jQuery version. But if you go to the web config, and of course, all of us, all the time, we never forget to do that, put debug equals false when you go to production. We never forget to do that, right? Never, ever, never, ever, never. Now when we reload that, because now we're in production, the CDN will be used here, okay? So now CDN is used on production, but whenever the debug flag is false, it will use the local version. Cool, so this is CDN, and just whenever you use jQuery, Bootstrap, jQuery UI, whatever that is, there is CDN for that. just put it in the bundle config and forget about it. It will just work for you. Okay. Now we're going to see a few NuGet packages that will make your life much more easier. The first one is Elma. I never remember what it means. It's error logging, whatever. But every time that I go to some place and they have an MVC application or even web forms, God forbid, I go and do install package. Install package, elma.mvc, and we find problems in a matter of seconds, and it's just amazing to see how people live in the dark for a long, long time because they say, well, our users say that this doesn't work and this doesn't work, and we don't know what to do. Shay, what do we do? So I say, I'm not a magician. Let's see what happens. And I install Elma, and then I become a magician because suddenly they know what's going on. So it gives me superpowers, so I'm happy. What happened now? If I build that and go back to my site, and everything should work as usual, but let's create an error. And I'm talking about unhandled errors. So this works, and let's say I'm going to, well, this will actually, yeah, this will throw an exception. So I have an exception. Now if I'm a user, I see that my head explodes and I'm going to my room and cry. And me as an administrator, as a developer, I never know that this actually happened. Now with Elma, as an administrator, I'm going to /Elma, and immediately I see that this happened because of the images that I still have there on the index, and this is actually the problem with the view. And I can go inside. I can see the entire error, all the call stack, and all the requests, the server variables at the moment. And this is priceless. And you can make it mail you the problems. You can make it save it. You can save it in a database. You can do a lot of stuff. There are a lot of extensions. And you saw it. Just install package elma.mvc, done. So this is Elma. Another one is T4MVC. Let's do that again. Install package T4MVC. And T4MVC is very nice because I'm saying if you're going to be static in C#, be static all the way. And what's wrong with MVC is that it has all these magic strings. What is a magic string? This is a magic string. If I change the name of something somewhere, I will never know that until it's too late. So what T4MVC is doing with T4 templates, it's adding MVC dot people dot views dot about us. So now this is actually just a string, but when I change the name of the view, I will get a compilation error. Awesome. Now this is nice. Something more, let's look at the view. This is, again, some kind of a magic string, right? Edit is a magic string. Let's remove that, and again, MVC dot people dot edit, and it looks like a method. So I just put the ID there, just like it was a method. And again, much more easier to look, and no magic strings anymore. So T4MVC, just install it. And again, it's T4 template. Every time you you change something, and you compile, it changes itself, and everything just works together. Last but not least, let's go back, Glimpse. Who knows what Glimpse is? Good for you, good for you. It's good, you said? I know. So now you will believe me because it wasn't me that said that. It's good, not Elma. Glimpse.mvc5. When I saw that the first time, I was like, oh my God, how did I live before that? It's a moment when you know, it's the first moment of the rest of your life. So be ready for that. Install package, glimpse.ef6, anti-framework. Okay, so now we're done. Build. And what I'm going to do first, if you've never done that, you go to glimpse.axd. And now it's on because I already done that, but you just click here, on, and this says on, right? If you do off, then it's red, on, it's on, okay? Now, let's go to my site, people. And on the side, there is this, I don't know if you all see, it looks like Google. It's not related to Google. And there is all this line here with all these metrics. If we look here, let's do that. Okay. So we have all these metrics here. Caching, what is cached at the moment. All the configuration on the server. The environment variables that are on the server. The execution, this is priceless. What happened during the execution of this page? All the filters, authorization, action executing, index is being called. All this stuff here, header, the sub action, this is done as well. Execute result, how much time did it take? All of this is written here. Metadata on everything that is being sent from the server to the server. All the requests, the routes, all the routes that are in my system. And you see here, this is green because this is what was picked. And you can see that the controller is people, index is the action. Okay, so you can see which route got picked. SQL, this is because the EF6 I put there. So all this stuff is something that EF anti-framework is doing, not related to my site, but you can see down here, this is the actual select that is being sent to the SQL server and how much time did it take to run, okay? This is an amazing diagnostic tool, really amazing. All the server variables. You can see the model binding, if there is one. If we'll go to edit here, open this again, you can see the model binding. You see the ID is 1. If you have problems with model binding, this will tell you where the problem is. This is crazy, okay? Again, this is, they have a very good website. If you want to learn more, they have videos. So again, this actually can work. They have this configuration that you can tell it to work just on the machine itself. So people cannot watch that from like our friend Hacky Hack cannot see that from a remote location. And again, you can run it on the production machine and solve problems in production. It's amazing. Just install it. It doesn't cost you anything. So, I'm good with the time. We saw all of that. We talked about a lot of things today. Best practices, NuGet packages, stuff that you should do, you shouldn't do. Take whatever you want from here. This is a good recommendation, but if you think there are things that are better, please tell me, by the way. And also, eventually, do what works good for your team. And if you do something that just makes your team confused, this is not good, right? So sit with your team, understand what you need, how it's going to work out, how it's going to work out not now, in a year from now, what's going to happen. And just get these decisions. This is my experience. I bet there are much more than that. My takes from here, security, something that a lot of people do not care about until they care about it. And when they care about it, it's too late. And all the tiny stuff, God is in the detail. Think about the stuff that you do. If you forget to put this, I don't know, simple custom HTML helper, you don't want to do that because it will take you 1 minute more. But then in the long run, you will rerun and rewrite this thing a dozen times again and again. Think about it. Stop and think, and you might become healthier, be more at your house with your family, drink more beer, be happy. That's what you need to do eventually. This is why we're here, being happy, right? So with that, I'll just let you be happy. Thank you very much.